Daily Pickle. It's a Daily Pickle.
I love it. I love it. Kurt Kaplan on all the imaging on this show. You do a great job, Curtis.
It's baseball time. Gotta get you pumped for some pickle.
I get pumped up when managers get thrown out of games, even when they get the call right. That's what happened in the St. Louis Brewers game. We'll break it down for you. Carlos, and we're not big Carlos Marmol fans, by the way. He got extended. We feel he's one of the reasons why the analytics is killing the St. Louis Cardinals right now. After the loss yesterday, they fell to 16-24 on the season, 8 games behind the Brew Crew.
Frustrating.
But there was a bang-bang play at second and first base, and both calls were improperly made on the field by the umpires. The guy was safe at second, safe at first. After they did the replay at second base and it was overturned, so the guy was safe at second. Then the guy was called safe at first. That call was overturned. So you're 2 for 2. The home plate umpire had words for the guys in the dugout. And do we have the audio on this?
I think we do.
If we have the audio, let's play the audio, and then we'll kind of talk about what actually happened.
So they're 2 for 2 in challenges.
Both at first base.
Yep. Sean Barber on both those calls.
The same guy.
Ollie Marmol's getting upset. You can't blame him.
And we're going to get one of the coaches run. Daniel Descalso was run first. Now, looks like Ollie Marmol is getting in the face of Alan Porter. And this is a boiling point from strike zone to calls to 7 straight losses.
Well, the frustration has got to be mounting at a fever pitch for St. Louis. And a couple of calls went the way of the Brewers, both overturned. He's upset.
Jim Wolf had to get in between, so now the manager and bench coach have been run for St. Louis.
Get out of here.
All right, so
And they got the calls right. So
Right.
they won the call.
But this is and learning a little bit more about this. So before that, though, they had overturned a couple of plays that Sean Barber had screwed up, and they went the Brewers' way.
Yes.
So then he screwed up a couple more calls, and it went the Cardinals' way. And essentially, I read his lips. He said, "Do your effing job."
Yeah.
And that's what got Descalso thrown out. Descalso got thrown out, the bench coach, which is not normal. The bench coaches usually hold their tongues, allow the manager to get run. Pitching coaches want to argue balls and strikes, but they'll let the manager do it. That's the manager's job. So the bench coach gets thrown, which led to now Carlos Marmol, who is the head coach of a very frustrated Cardinals staff.
Lost 7 in a row.
Yeah, they have a better team than they're showing right now. His job will be in jeopardy very shortly. And basically he goes out there to defend not only his team, defend his hitting, his bench coach, but also to let the umpires know, guys, you've screwed up in the first couple innings of this game. Like, it's pathetic that we have to keep going to the replay to overturn your horrific calls. So it basically went the Brewers' way first, then it went the Cardinals' way second, and still Marmol, even after the overturned calls went their way, we're like, this shouldn't have to happen.
And they won the game. Cardinals won the game.
Well, that's because Marmol wasn't there.
Oh, wow. It's just been boiling over for a lot of these coaches, these managers with the umpires, and it starts with balls and strikes. And Marmol even got out there in a catcher's position, was trying to tell him as he was getting run out of there where he was missing his balls and strikes. And it's just boiling over. We saw it with the opposite team, which was Brewers and their head coach about 3 weeks ago.
Pat Murphy.
And honestly, Coach Murphy has galvanized this Brewers team where they're
And sometimes that happens. When you get thrown out over some calls, sometimes the team rallies around not just the manager, but, hey, everybody's screwing us. Nobody likes us, and you do that whole, hey, we get no respect kind of thing. It's a little early for that, like 6 weeks into the season, but it's never too early to say you're not getting enough respect.
And, see if it helps out the Cardinals in the future with these umpires, because sometimes maybe even though they say it's not going to, maybe they do start leaning your way. But the That was, I say, the ejection of the weekend, as we seem to have one every week that is fun to talk about. Booney hasn't been thrown out in a while, right? Booney's been good.
No, Booney's been pretty good. I did want to bring this up, though, because right now Paul Goldschmidt is in a funk. He has not gotten a hit in his last, I think, 24 at-bats, or is it 34 at-bats?
He was 1 for 34 going into that game.
Yeah, so he was 1 for 34 going into that game. Then he went 0 for 4. He's been 0 for 5, 0 for 3, 0 for 4, 0 for 5, 0 for 3, 0 for 3, and he's catching up right now to Chris Davis, who I think went like 0 for 54 at one point with the Baltimore Orioles a few years ago. And that is a Chris Davis with the C, not the K. That was the African-American kid that played with the Oakland Athletics. Was a really talented kid. But, yeah, I mean, listen, they have a lot of guys that are in a funk right now. I think a lot of this, and there's 23 teams that are hitting below 245 in the major leagues right now. And I checked that last week. I have not looked at it today. But analytics is destroying the sport. Telling guys batting average and on-base percentage are not important is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's like saying ERA is not important. ERA is totally important when you are checking how your performances are over the course of a month, over 2 months, over the first half of the season. You want to go back and look month to month to month on how my ERA is doing or how my batting average is for April, May, June. On-base percentage, is it going up? Is it going down? And you can really tell a lot about players that way. You can look at a offensive player.
Always have.
And see if a guy in August and September's numbers, if they're going the wrong way, going south, and going lower and lower and lower, maybe he's getting tired. Maybe we need to rest him a little bit more. Some guys don't like to come out when even when they're struggling. They don't want to come out of games. And so when you've got guys like that want to play every day like a Cal Ripken, sometimes you have to be like, listen, your batting average was at 302 a month ago. Now it's at like 242. You've lost 60 points here in the last month. You need to sit for a day and just kind of regroup your thoughts. This is a real tough pitcher tonight. Just sit out, clear your head. You'll be back in there tomorrow. And again, when you're hitting 197 with 3 home runs and you're Paul Goldschmidt, you've got to start thinking about, is the analytics people, are they right? Is my hitting instructor, is he screwing me up? Maybe you've got a private hitting instructor. Paul Goldschmidt last year had 25 home runs, the year before 35, the year before that 31. This guy has 350 home runs in his career. He's got over almost 1,200 RBI. He's a lifetime 291 hitter. When you're hitting 197 and you're that good of a hitter, something's wrong there, either physical or mental, maybe both. But that's when you have to start thinking maybe some of these numbers that they say aren't significant are.
Series for this week in the midweek, Mets will be hosting the Philadelphia Phillies.
That's a big one.
That is a big old series in that division. Here's another one for you. Red Sox going to be hosting the Tampa Bay Rays. They're still hanging 2 games above 500, those dirty Boston Red Sox.
Philly's got the best record in baseball right now at 28-13, better than the Bravos, who we just saw last night on Sunday Night Baseball. But when you look at some of these teams right now, they've either got like one good pitcher that's down or maybe even 2 good pitchers that down. They've got maybe a couple of guys in the lineup that aren't in there every day that are not just good hitters, but they're also protection for other guys in the lineup. So when you're missing certain players, like even Trevor Story for the Red Sox, that guy's bat not in the lineup, people may not understand. That hurts the guys in front and behind where he would be hitting.
Right.
And guys like Rafael Devers who are not hitting like their potential and why you gave him all that money, a lot of it has to do with look at the protection around him. He doesn't have a whole lot of protection around him. Now Tristan Casas gets hurt. And you start looking at him, and you're looking at, okay, well, we're missing 2 big bats in the top of the lineup. Maybe that's an issue. We didn't re-sign this guy. We let that guy go free agent, that kind of stuff. So when you look at that, why the Mets are struggling, why the Red Sox are starting to struggle, there's causes and effects for all of this kind of stuff. And, hey, maybe we brought too many minor league guys up this year, and we're giving them too many opportunities. I mean, a lot of this has to do with also you brought in a new general manager and operations guy. Your pitching has been excellent. One of the best starting rotations in baseball. A lot of first pitch strikes that the Red Sox are throwing right now. But the offense right now and defense is not matching what you're throwing out there day to day.
The Yankees are on the road against a really tough team. Don't look now. The Minnesota Twins are 10 games above 500, and they'll probably stay that way unless they do play the Kansas City Royals. It's about the only team in the division that's.
I don't know how the Guardians do it with their lineup.
The Guardians are competitive as well, but the White Sox and the Houston Astros. Oh my gosh! As far as that division goes,
they are arguably all fighting for some of the worst records in baseball. Rockies have 12 wins. Marlins have 11 wins. Yeah. The White Sox have 12 wins. It's like, and I look at this right now. So the White Sox are 13 games back right now. Marlins are 17 and a half back, and the Rockies are 14 games back. Your fan base has to be hating life right now. You love your team, but you're like, this is hard for me to support this right now. And the Marlins is one of the worst.
The Marlins fans are used to it.
But if I look at Arise being traded for 4 low prospects, and Arise is now, he has a game winner the other night for the Padres. He's one of he's already a fan favorite because of the game-winning hit the other night. Padres love him. You know why? He's a contact guy. He puts the ball in play. So we were just talking about protection. So when you get a guy who wins the batting title in the National League traded to your team, do you know what an adrenaline shot that is in the arm to this team? That is like, hey, we really are trying, and we're only in April, right? May. We're in the early May, in the middle of May. You're saying instead of wait until the end of July to trade for this guy, we're going to trade for this guy now and send 4 guys that have never played in the major leagues to the Marlins? Good luck. If 2 of those guys make it, you think you maybe won that, and that's 2-3 years from now. We're trying to win right now against the Dodgers, who are tough, Arizona, who was tough last year but have yet to really kick it into gear. Still 3 games under 500. But right now, if you're trying to change the Dodgers, you need superstars because they have a super team.
Yeah. Rockies 14 back from the top spot, and the Dodgers holding the NL West. The Marlins 17 and a half back from the Philadelphia Phillies already.
It's awful.
Golly. That is bad.
But your general manager, who's an analytics nerd, comes out and goes, yeah, I don't think we have much of a chance this year. I don't think we're going to make the postseason this year.
May 13th.
When that comes out, and it was actually a few days ago, that comes out, and you're like, let me just say I'm a ticket salesperson in the organization. I'm on the phone every day. I'm like, hey, you know what? You haven't re-upped your season tickets this year. We've got this whole ticket, package coming up. It's like for 2 series or whatever. You're every day your job is to sell tickets.
Embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. It makes your job that much more difficult in the front office. And now you know why Derek Jeter was like, listen, I got my money back that I put into this organization over 5 years. You don't want to go in the direction I want you to go in. I'm out.
Well, there is some great stuff happening in baseball. And one thing that happened this weekend that is just glorious, beautiful, great idea. Great things are going to come of this. The Seattle Mariners were taking on the Oakland Athletics. Okay, I understand. A lot of people, especially in this part of the world, are excited about that game until all of a sudden, raining down from the heavens as the Seattle Mariners were playing the what was the song? It was in my head.
It's Raining Men?
No, the Heaven song, Kurt. Was it
Heaven Sent Me an Angel?
Heaven on Earth?
Heaven on Earth.
Oh, Pennies from Heaven?
Ooh, heaven is a place.
You mean what's her face from the Go-Go's?
Right, you know the song.
Yeah, I know.
So that starts, and then all of a sudden, from the heavens, raining down are little parachutes holding hot dogs, free hot dogs for everyone. It was raining hot dogs as the song was playing.
That is heaven.
That is heaven on earth.
That or donuts.
So many hot dogs were raining down, and our friend Dallas Braden was doing the game for the Oakland Athletics. One got stuck on the window of the press box as obviously.
Don't tell me he crawled out.
He crawls out there and fishes out his heavenly dog that was hung up on the parachute of the window.
So what does Belinda Carlisle have to do with this again?
She was singing, "Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth?" Heaven is a place on earth.
What
And
a
then hot dogs
moment.
keep
Right. What a
floating down
moment.
from heaven.
That is just surreal. Surreal. Now, I don't know if that's like the leftover dogs they can't sell and like, I don't know what kind of dogs we're getting. I need to. Now, Kurt's sister, as we told you, is going to all these ballparks. The Mariners are one. Kurt, if we can get your sister to give us a firsthand account
food?
of the parachute hot dogs. What kind of hot dogs? Like, are they worth it? Do they have condiments
Well, no,
on it?
they probably do have condiments in the thing. with it.
Like
They
a
don't-
little take-home
Yeah,
packet.
the little
that you get?
packets, the little to-go packets. But what I'm asking is, every stadium has a different like marquee food thing. Like there's like a 2-pounder at the Ranger games,
The
2-pound hot
Mariners
dog.
do the grasshoppers.
Yeah, Mariners. Yeah, that's disgusting.
Deep fried
I'm not eating
grasshoppers.
insects. I'm sorry. But so see if your sister, wherever she goes, like to that Mariners game, there's got to be some kind of Mariner something that.
Tell her to get the grasshoppers.
Big
She's
fresh
adventurous.
fish
She
market
might actually
out
try the
there.
grasshopper
Try the
just for the hell of it.
Yeah. Tell her to try the grasshoppers and then see if any of those dogs have relish on them when they come down with their parachute.
They all have the little containers of stuff.
Wouldn't that be wild, though?
They
Like,
already put it on
right.
there.
Let's make one that's all ketchup. Let's make one that's all mustard. Let's one do ketchup, mustard, and relish. Oh, ketchup, mustard, relish,
Oh my
and
God,
the
that's
onions.
the biggest argument is people are like, you can't put ketchup on a hot dog. You have to put
I heard
mustard.
that over the weekend as well.
See, then you go to Cincinnati and you got Skyline Chili, where you got the chili on the dog.
Right,
you
I'm
got the
with you on
cheese on the
that.
dog. I prefer the shredded cheese on a hot dog.
now come
man.
down south and we'll give you a Carolina dog. You know what's that?
No.
Coleslaw.
Coleslaw.
Put
On the
coleslaw
dog.
on your dog. No ketchup on that coleslaw
No,
dog.
no, you
That's
can't do
really
that. That would be weird.
If you go coleslaw on the dog, you go mustard on top.
How about a Texas Tommy?
What's a Texas Tommy?
You wrap it up with bacon.
Oh, now you're talking.
Hey, Tommy's dogs out on the West Coast
Yeah.
is like it's like a pound of chili on top of your dog.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
So that's not a date night food. You don't really.
Oh God, no! You're running to the bathroom in 30 minutes.
Well, I was thinking just for the slop of it, but yeah, that thing too.
Now
Yeah.
come down to Lime Rock. They're our favorite friends over there at the racetrack, and they have this dog that they put a pound of pulled pork on top of with another little dash of coleslaw.
Can I stop you right there? Isn't the hot dog part pork?
It's a double pork. It's
Yeah.
called something like
Double porker?
the Big Piggy or something like that.
Yeah, double porky the pig.
Yeah, something like that at the
Yeah.
track. But I love.
I thought it would be something to do with the Swedish chef and say pork, pork, pork.
It might be. Actually, I think it's pictures next to it if you go to the track to order that on the menu. I'm just a fan of food in parachutes. Any way you can get
Well,
me
it's a great idea.
Good idea.
All right, we'll come back. Sports menu next. Maybe we can dig up the Seattle Mariners menu other than the hot dogs from heaven and Belinda Carlisle. We'll be right back on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive on Fox Sports Radio.